I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game, not a game.
If you're looking for the best basketball talk in the universe, you just found it. This is Deep Hoops, where fans are the host. Tim Brayboy, Troy Ramel Royal, and me, your point guard, Jehudi. We're talking basketball, all basketball, and nothing but basketball. So sit back and enjoy the best basketball talk in the podcast universe. This is Deep Hoops.
Hi, I'm the Minister.
And I'm Rob.
And we'd like to welcome you to a special edition of Deep Hoops. We're talking about the top 10 under 5. The top 10 players under 5 years of experience that will be the future of the NBA. I think the NBA is in good hands.
I agree with you. And only thing that's missing is that out of the top 10 players, there's only one that's going to be from the New York Knicks. We need more stars, future stars from the Knickerbockers.
Well, you know, and who knows what Frank is going to be, you know, but they're not on our top 10 list right now. And here's the funny thing. We were talking about if we were to look back and did this 5 years ago, who would be the top 10 under 5? And you named a couple of players. Who are some of the players you named?
Obviously, it would be the Kevin Durant's of the world, Westbrook. I would have had Curry on there. Believe it or not.
Would you have had Curry on there as top 10?
I would have had Curry. I wouldn't have had Clay. I wouldn't have had Kawhi Leonard.
No, Kawhi. No.
I didn't think that those two.
Would you have had Westbrook?
Yeah, I would have had Westbrook.
You would have had Westbrook coming out.
You know what? Westbrook got about 9 years in, so if we'd have did this 5 years ago, he'd have probably already been in his third, fourth year.
Right, okay.
So, yeah.
But, I mean, Durant wouldn't be on there. Durant has been in the league at least 10 years, hasn't he?
But 5 years ago, he'd be in his fifth year.
Okay, right, yeah.
I wouldn't have had Draymond Green.
Oh, hell no.
I wouldn't have had him.
No.
You know, and you know, but that's why you got to play the game.
Exactly. So, as we go through this list, even though they're on the list today, we could be looking back at this 5 years from now saying, we said who?
Or 3 years from now.
Exactly, right. And we didn't say him.
Yeah.
You know, and so they're probably players that you're going to look at me and say, why didn't you have him on the list? Like, I'm looking at players that you have on the list. I'm like, why you have him on the list? But you know what? That's why we're fans.
Right. Not experts.
And we're just talking about the game we love. So what we're going to do is we're going to go 5 and 5, from 10 to 6.
10 to 6,
and then 5 to 1. So, Rob, why don't you start it off with your 10th pick?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with Ben Simmons at number 10.
At 10?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Ben Simmons at 10. I'm going to go with Jason Tatum at 9. And I'm going to go with Donovan Mitchell at 8. I'm going to go with Karl Anthony Towns at 7. And this is a favorite of mine. I'm going to go with Devin Booker at number 6.
The only thing that we agree upon is Devin Booker at 6.
Okay.
All right. So my number 10 that I look at as being a superstar in the future is Kyle Kuzma. Number 9, Kristaps Porzingis. Number 8, Lonzo Ball. Number 7, Jaylen Brown. And number 6, Devin Booker. Now, let's go and compare what we're talking about here. So the only ones that we share, and I mean, not just the number, I don't have anyone in my top 6 other than Devin Booker that you haven't, Devin Booker, right.
Yeah, I have Devin Booker at 6. Great choices, by the way.
I can't argue or debate your choices either.
Great choices. I just think that Ben Simmons is gonna have a similar game to LeBron James, and I think in years come either he's gonna get stronger and realize going to the basket is gonna be his best weapon, or he is gonna eventually develop a jump shot. But make no mistakes about it, he's got all the tools.
And you know,
all the tools.
I didn't mention Ben Simmons not because he's not on my list, but he's higher. All right, so I agree with you. I think Ben Simmons is going to be one of the future superstars of the NBA.
I think Jason Tatum, who I have number 9, and he's going to have to take his time. But I think he's going to be leading Kyrie Irving in Boston at some time. I see Kyrie retiring in Boston, but I see Jason Tatum having one of those Paul Pierce type of careers there where he's staying there a long time. But I think that this team is going to become his team, and I think Kyrie Irving is going to defer to him, and Jason Tatum is going to be a star in this league.
Well, once again, I didn't mention Jason Tatum. Not because he's not on my list, but I have him a lot higher than 10 through 6.
Donovan Mitchell, who I think right now is leading candidate for Rookie of the Year. I think that, playing in Utah is going to take away from his notoriety. They're not played enough on national TV, but this guy is a human highlight film. He believe it or not, and I mentioned this before, he has shades of D-Wade. He has shades of Westbrook, and this guy is only going to get better, and the team is going to be his. And watch out for him. I got him at number 7, and then I have Karl Anthony Towns at number 6. You talk about the young centers in the league and so forth. This guy, he does it all. The only problem with him is that he's quiet. And he's buried in Minnesota where he doesn't get the notoriety. I mean, some might think he has a better upside than Porzingis, but you hear more about Porzingis
because he's in
New York. But Karl Anthony Towns, tremendous talent.
I'm going to say, and I have him higher as well. So, I mean, we have probably the same top 10, just in different order. I'm going to go with your guy. In a previous show, you talked about you and Paul Pierce being a lot alike. In this instance, me and Paul Pierce are a lot alike. I heard Paul Pierce say that if Minnesota is going to make a real run in the playoffs, he's got to be their best player and not Butler. And I think if Minnesota is going to make a real run for a championship, it's going to be on the back of Karl Anthony Towns.
And that's probably a more accurate statement. The problem is that Karl Anthony's coaches tips, and there's a reason why Jimmy Butler is there.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't trust youngsters,
right?
And he needed somebody who he can trust. But the funny thing about it is, Tibbs built this name on youngsters.
Right.
When
yeah.
When he came to Chicago, D. Rose was a youngster, Noah was a youngster, Lou Alding was a youngster. I mean, this was
those were players that he had to play. Butler played because he got hurt, or somebody got hurt, and he got installed in the lineup.
Right.
So he played who he had to play, but he never trusted youngsters. But he still doesn't.
But he built his coaching cred up by coaching youngsters.
But I mean, he also built his coaching cred up on what was the little short guy that played on the Knicks? That one of the
Nate Robinson.
Nate Robinson, players like that.
Yeah.
So he trusts veterans. He plays young people either by management or default.
But he does well with the young, because Chicago, we thought they was going to be a championship team.
Yeah, I mean, but once again, I still question, and I know that's not what we're talking about. Is Tibbs a championship coach?
I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know that he's a championship coach because he has a window where he burns people out, and he's coming close. And he's only been there 2 years. Mm-hmm. He's probably coming close to that window, and that's why he brought in those veterans. But anyway, let's get back to the top 10 and 5.
And Devin Booker, number 6. I mean, some time ago I asked a trivia question: who are the only players to score 70 points in a game? He was one of them. I mean, I can't say enough about this guy. I would give, if I'm Magic Johnson, I would give a draft pick or 2 for him, because I think that him and Lonzo Ball could be the perfect backcourt for the Lakers going further in the future.
So let me just give. Did I give my top 10?
You gave. You just didn't speak.
I didn't speak on it. So Porzingis, I have him at 9 because, you know, in the previous show you talked about him talking about back-to-back games. He still hasn't proven to me that he is the Batman. He could be one of the best Robins of all time. I don't know that he's a Batman. And this list, we're talking about Batmans. I mean, if we're talking about future superstars, not all stars, but future superstars, superstars are the Batmans. And I just don't know that Porzingis is a Batman, but I still have him in my top 10. I just don't know where he's going to be. Kyle Kuzma, that's a Batman. He's going to be a Batman. He's going to be, and you did that look. You gave me the minister look. You gave me the look. I think Kyle Kuzma, and you know, maybe because I saw him in the summer league, and I looked at that dude and I was just amazed. And he hasn't let me down. And he's only going to get better. And I like everything about him except for, and he's gotten better defensively. Offensively, there's still room to grow. But I think he's shown me so much versatility offensively that I have him in my top 10. Lonzo Ball, I don't know if you have him any higher, and I wonder if you would have him any higher than 10 through 6. But I think Lonzo Ball has shown a deficiency in shooting, but his basketball IQ, his court awareness, and his ability to make a team better. When he was out, his father was talking about they should fire Luke Walton. And since he's come back, they've been on a winning streak. I mean, the kid makes a difference. And then Jaylen Brown, I think Jaylen Brown is going to be another one of those future players in the NBA, whether he stays with Boston or leaves. I think if Boston is going to really make their run at the finals and championships, they got to take the a page out of the playbook of Golden State. You don't get rid of your future to get big names. You know, you supplement with veterans, but you don't replace young superstars. And Jerry West, you told the story, and I want you to tell that story. But Jerry West did another one. If they wanted to trade Kevin Love for Klay Thompson,
he said no.
And he said no. And sometimes it's the trades that you don't make. And you talked about, tell that story real quick.
Yeah, one night I was listening to the Laker game, and Michael Thompson was doing the audio broadcast, and he talked about that the year that they drafted Worthy, that Laker management was torn between drafting Worthy and Dominique Wilkins. And he said that Jerry West stood up and said, "I will quit if you don't draft James Worthy." Now, that's a nice problem to have.
Right.
They're both Hall of Famers, 50 greatest players. Unfortunately, Dominique has never won a championship.
But he never had Magic Johnson either.
But if he hadn't been drafted by the Lakers, it would have been Showtime for sure. It would have been Showtime for sure. But getting back to Jerry West, you know, Jerry West is the guy that was dead set against that trade that you mentioned for Kevin Love, Klay Thompson. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, we're probably having a conversation like this with this list with both of them in it.
Right.
You know,
and my point to that was, you know, what you don't do is get rid of the future, the young players, for a name that's only going to be there for a few years. That's the problem that the Knicks have had over the years. The Mets have had in another sport over the years. And I mean, ever since I've been a Met fan, they go for the big names that are well past their prime. And I think if the Lakers or Boston tries to get rid of Jaylen or Kuzma or some of their, you know, young superstars, budding superstars, to get a big name, it'll be to their detriment.
Yeah, and I mean, you touched on the Knicks, my team. You touched on the Mets, also my team. When you talk about the Knicks, they don't know how to draft. The only thing they know how to do is draft maybe big guys. They don't know how to draft little guys. They haven't had a successful draft to me, consistently enough in a long time. I mean, when they drafted Patrick Ewing, Kenny Walker, Mark Jackson, Rod Strickland, that's a nice little string. Goes to show you how bad their draft has been. Do you know who's the last first-round pick the Knicks drafted that signed a rookie extension?
Who?
Gotta go all the way back to Charlie Ward.
Wow. He's a better quarterback. Now, anyway,
Yeah.
but I will say this. We talk about Phil Jackson. He picked Porzingis. I want to see what this boy Frank is going to do.
Well, he's nowhere on this list.
No, he's not on this list. He's not on this list, but there are a lot of players. Tony Parker probably wouldn't have been on this list in his rookie year. I can name a number of players that wouldn't be on this list in their rookie year. So let's give them 2 or 3 years. But I tell you, I like what I see.
I don't.
I like what I see.
I see a lot of Knicks games.
I know you do. You watch way more Knicks games than I do.
I do want to make a comment on your selections. Kuzma, I'm very high on Kuzma.
Mm-hmm.
I have him on number 15 for me. Jaylen Brown, I'm high on him. I don't know if Jaylen Brown's ceiling is going to be high enough, is much higher
Than it is already.
consistent base. He could be one of those guys that could be more athletic than fundamental. And if that's the case, it might hurt him. But I do look for him to be someone to keep an eye on. As far as Lonzo Ball, this is a guy that has star written all over him. And I think he's going to be a star. The question is he going to be an all-star? And that's what I need to know. Will he be an all-star? I have him at 12.
All right. Well, now we can go 5 through number 1. And we've already debated number 1 and 2. We did that in a show a couple of weeks ago. So go ahead with your number 5 through 1.
Number 5 is Porzingis for me.
He's
He's been compared to Dirk. I think some of the comparisons is spot on. I mentioned this once before. Dirk didn't come on the scene right away and finish as the number 3 all-time leading scorer in NBA history.
Right.
He grew into that role. And unfortunately, he won a championship later in his career, and I'm hoping that as a Knicks fan, we don't have to wait
That long. Right.
But Porzingis is averaging 24, 25 points a game. He do have some deficiencies, but at the end of the day, he's going to be a star in this league, and he should be in an all-star game this season. So I got him at 5. C.J. McCollum. This is a guy that don't get the respect that he deserves because he plays alongside of Dame Lillard. But that backcourt is top 3 in the league. I mean, you put together Chris Paul and James Harden that can challenge them right now at top 3. But C.J. McCollum is a scoring machine. He's only going to get better. And you're going to...
How many years does Bradley Beal have?
Bradley Beal has about 6 to 7 years. And they're kind of the same type of player. I think that Bradley Beal is more of a shooter, and I think CJ is more of a scorer. But they both give you the same numbers. The same numbers. And then number 3, might be a little high for a defensive player, but Rudy Gobert, man. I mean, he's going to be like the center that's going to be in the mix with all the scoring centers because of his defensive prowess. And I think he's better around the basket than Drummond and also DeAndre Jordan. So I like Rudy Gobert right there at number 3. Number 2, man, at some point in the league, he may be the face of the league. But I got him at number 2, and that's Joel Embiid, only because I think the Greek freak, Giannis, is a step ahead of him.
All right, and I mean, so let me say what I don't have on my list, 5 through 1. I don't have Rudy, what's his name?
Gobert?
I don't have Rudy Gobert. I don't have C.J. McCollum. I just don't have them in my top 10. I'm not saying that they won't be, but I don't see either one of them being, and my list is based on superstars in the future. not stars, not all stars, but superstars. People that will carry the league. I don't see either one of them carrying the league. And so that's why I don't have them in. So my 5 through 1 is your number 6, I believe, was Karl Anthony Towns. I see a big upside for Karl Anthony Towns, and I see him really carrying this league. I mean, a big man that can shoot, dribble. You know, what did it for me was when I saw him in that All-Star weekend, and he won the skills competition. When he dribbled and passed and did everything, I was floored by that. I mean, I've never, to this day, seen a big man do what he was doing in the skills competition. And then, on the court, he's poised. His biggest deficiency, and I didn't think it would be, has been defense, and he's starting to come around defensively. He's starting to get it. But, I mean, he's also playing for Tibbs, and Tibbs' defensive schemes are a bit different, and it takes more. Right, exactly. But I have Karl Anthony Towns. Ben Simmons, I think you had it number 9 or number somewhere.
I don't know, 10.
10. Ben Simmons, without a jumper, without a jump shot, is already the future of the NBA, in my opinion. With a jump shot, I think you put him on. I mean, we have Giannis, who doesn't have a jump shot, and we both have him in our top 5. And I think Ben Simmons, with a jump shot, is just going to be some kind of a freak of nature, Magic Johnson-esque freak of nature from a point guard, point forward, whatever you want to call him, position. Then I have someone I believe you had in the top 10. I believe you said his name. His upside to me is so tremendous. It's so ridiculous. He's going to end up ending his career as the best Dookie ever in Jason Tatum. That dude is unbelievable. I mean, his upside, I mean, I don't know about this week. I don't follow it week by week. But he was leading the league in three-point percentage.
He was.
And, I mean, he is the future, to your point, what you said earlier. He's going to be the future of the Boston Celtics. Yeah. I mean, Kyrie Irving is the now of the Boston Celtics.
Except if it's true what I read, that if the draft was to end today, Boston would select Trey, what's his name, Trey Young out of Oklahoma.
Oh, wow. Well, there'll be a new future. I mean, that would be like Durant and
Curry.
That would be like Durant Curry. And the funny thing, I'm glad you mentioned him, because even though he's not in the NBA,
he might be in the future.
He may be in the future. I have him on my guys to watch for the future. Yeah, that dude is real. That dude is real.
43, 11, and 7, pulling up from nearly half court.
That dude is real. He's real. Now, Lonzo, what's his name? LaVar Ball should be talking about he's already better than Curry, as opposed to Lonzo. But anyway, so I have Jason Tatum. And our top 2 are our top 2. Yes. We just have them flip-flop. Giannis Antetokounmpo, or the Greek Freak, is a freak. And here's the thing. If he develops a jump shot, he could be number 1, without a doubt.
Of all time?
Of all time. If he develops a jump shot. But I'm going from where he is right now.
Yeah.
And I think right now, older, even though he hasn't played a lot, Joel Embiid is, I think the best description I've heard of Joel Embiid was by you. Patrick Ewing and Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, it's Patrick Ewing meet Hakeem.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, his moves, but then he even has more range on his jump shot than Patrick Ewing.
And I say Patrick Ewing because I think that if Patrick Ewing played today, he would have stepped out with three-point range. Patrick Ewing had one of the best jump shots of any center of all time. So, but, I mean, I can't argue with your list.
Right.
Your list is strong and your order is strong. But, yeah, I mean, those 2 right there. And this is what I don't understand with ball clubs. Michael Redd was a tremendous shooter for Milwaukee. why don't they bring him on board and work with?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't mind a check.
Yeah.
I see him occasionally at the games. They're giving him good seats.
Right.
Why not?
Make him a shooting coach.
Why not? Put him in
You
the
know,
gym.
I mean, and who does? I mean, Andrew Toney. I mean, the last I heard, he was here in Georgia.
Really? He's a little older now. Michael Redd is still young.
I know, but I
He's
mean,
under
a
40.
shooting is shooting.
Shooting is shooting.
Yeah, I mean, you remember the little white guy that used to play in Ravenswood across 21st Street?
Oh yeah, I can't think of his name. I used to call him Bob Cousy.
Bob Cousy. I mean,
old guy.
Old guy.
And
he could shoot his butt off.
with a wooden leg.
But yeah, did he ever wooden leg?
Nah, he.
I was gonna say I didn't see no splinters or nothing.
he moved like.
Yeah, he did. But I mean, they say I have a wooden leg now the way I move. But you know, the bottom line is, a lot of things you can lose.
Mm-hmm.
Shooting,
It's natural.
you don't lose.
It's natural.
You take a shooter from yesteryear and put him out, you know, on a court today, he can still shoot.
I mean, I could win a game of horse and shooting.
Right, it just is shooting.
It's just in shooting.
Just in shooting.
Yeah.
And if I get, I mean, that was the one thing that I had as a basketball player. The Woodard brothers were known for basketball, except for me. You know, Keith, Roderick, Byron. But out of all of us, I had the best jump shot.
And you know, jump shot, when we was coming up in the 70s and into the 80s, you had to have a jump shot.
You had to.
And plus, we played games that helped you work on your jump shot, whether it was around the world,
Right.
whether it was 5-2.
Right.
You know, you had to work on your jump shot because, and then if you played a full court, there was a lot of zone defense.
Right.
We didn't really play man
Man
to
to
man.
man.
So the zone always allowed a jump shot. So you had to have a jump shot or you wasn't being chosen.
But I mean, when we look at these guys that are being paid, this is their living.
yes.
You work in the automobile industry,
Yes.
and you're always perfecting your craft. I mean, you know, from sales to finance to
And just
management.
knowing the product.
Right.
Knowing the product.
And you study it.
Right.
I don't understand. And Ben Simmons sat out all last year. And what was hurt? His leg? What was it? What was
Yeah,
his?
something with his.
But it wasn't his upper extremities, right? So he could have been practicing the jump shot
Well, and here's the thing. I watch
or shooting.
Gordon Hayward in a chair shooting jump shots.
Right.
Shooting jump shots. Just steady working on it because it's muscle memory and it's just knowing your range. So, I mean, there's certain things you can do. You can do to perfect your craft. And like you said, even with me in my field, you know, knowing the product is part of being fundamentals. You know, and work on your jump shot. But here's what happens. The jump shot's not sexy. You know what I mean? It's not the oohs and ahs that get you on top 10 of ESPN.
I disagree.
But
okay.
hear me out. But Curry has brought that back.
Okay. Yeah, that's where I was going.
Curry has brought that back but his jump shot is just not the mid-range jump shot. It's from 5-point
Right.
range. You know?
But how about, what's his name? Thompson. Klay Thompson. Lick.
Actually, I think his jump shot is better than Curry. It's just that Curry has more range on it.
Right. His form and everything. Yeah.
He just has the sweetest jump shot.
Picture perfect.
Yeah, I mean, he scored one game like 40 points, and they said he took like maybe 6 steps the whole game.
Right. I mean, and so when you think about it, and Durant, just think, Giannis could be a better Durant if he had a jump shot.
That's scary. That's scary. Like you said, even if he had LeBron's jump shot.
Right. He don't have to have Durant's jump shot. He don't have to have Curry's jump shot. He don't have to have Klay Thompson's jump shot. Just have a jump shot as good as LeBron.
Yep.
So, you know, we're looking at these future, and we don't know what's going to come out next year, like Trey, or, you know, who's going to be the other superstars. Yeah. But right now, as we see it, let's go over it again. 10 through 1.
Okay, I have Ben Simmons, Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, Karl Anthony Towns, Devin Booker, Porzingis, McCollum, Gobert, Embiid, and Giannis.
So I don't have Devin. I don't have
You
C.J.
have
McCollum.
Devin at 6.
No, not Devin. I mean Donovan.
Yes, you don't
I don't have Donovan. I don't have C.J. McCollum.
and Rudy Gobert.
And I don't have Rudy Gobert. So my top 10 are Kyle Kuzma. I don't know if that's a Laker hangover, but I mean, I got to be honest. Kristaps Porzingis, Lonzo Ball, Jaylen Brown, Devin Booker, Karl Anthony Towns, Ben Simmons, Jason Tatum, Giannis, and Embiid. So the bottom line is, at the end of the day, the NBA, I remember when Michael Jordan retired, and they put so much emphasis on Jordan, the league kind of had a little downturn for a little while. I think they learned from that, and they're not just putting the emphasis just on LeBron, and they're focusing on the great play of the players today and the future. And I think the future of the NBA may be brighter than ever.
All right, you know what? There's some stars in this league that's shining bright. This last draft class is probably going to be maybe the best in a few years. The NBA got it right. And I'm going to tell you something what I like that I'm seeing, and some people disagree with me. I think the NBA is too quick to give a technical or call something a flagrant foul, but they're letting them play hard basketball. They're playing tough again, and it's, to me, it's bringing a little bit of energy and some excitement back to the game, along with the stars.
Yeah.
The league is in good hands.
The league is in great hands, and with the commissioner, Adam Silver, I called him out. I called him into question only because of the international play a couple of weeks ago. But the bottom line is, the league looks good, man.
It does.
The league looks good. Well, I'm the minister,
And I'm Rob.
and we're talking about the NBA, a game that we love. Now, we love all of sports, but this is called Deep Hoops because NBA, in our book, is the number one sport, the number one league, and this is what excites us. If you're a passionate fan like we are, reach out to us on Facebook. Reach out to us on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. Hit us up at deephoopsinfo@gmail.com. Talk back, clap back at us. Let us know what you're thinking. You can agree, disagree, yell at us, talk about us, call us anything but God. We don't care. We just want to engage in conversation because we love the NBA.
Give us your top 10. Give us your top 5. Let us know who's your number 1. We just want to hear back from you. Remember, we're not experts. We're just passionate fans, and we want to be the voice not only for us, but for you as well.
Amen.
Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.